Hi there, people of the YouTubes. Right in front of you here is a box, a fender box, and what's in it is a pick guard. Now, I call these things scratch plates. I think most people, Western Europe would call them that rather than a pick guard, which is more American. So I might go between both of those, but they mean the same thing. Pick guard and scratch plate is the same thing. This is a proper fender product. It's preloaded, pre-wired, so it has the pickups already wired in. It has the knobs and the five-way switch. As you can see here, it's got a tortoise shell scratch plate. It's also got aged covers and knobs and the five-way switch tip. These pickups are the 57. I don't know if they're 5962 or 5762. I think it's 57/62 pickups. These are vintage pickups, which is what I was looking for, which I prefer to modern ones, quite honestly. And the reason you can tell is because a lot of times they'll have the raised middle pole positions here, whereas moderns tend to be flat. I don't mean south pole, I mean poles on the pickup. And what I was going to do is I was going to take these pickups and the knobs and the five-way switch out and put it in my other scratch plate, which is a Fender player guitar. And that was my original idea. And then I saw this tortoise shell and I thought, oh, actually, that'll go pretty good with my Tide Pool Fender player guitar, which is Tide Pool's a kind of blue. And it goes really well with it. I thought, oh, that looks nice, I'll just keep it. But there was a problem, and if it wasn't me, there wouldn't be a problem, but it was me. That's what we're always talking about when it comes to me. There's always problems. And the problem was that this is a 21 fret pickguard. They fit a 21 fret guitar, and the Fender players are both 22 frets. So because there was an extra fret, this pickguard didn't fit, so I can't use it. I'm just going to put this pickguard on some other guitar in the future. I'm also going to put these aged pickup covers and knobs and five-way switch tip on another guitar, because the guitar I'm putting into it is a white scratch plate and white knobs and all the rest of it, so I just kept those. All the electronics in this, the pots and all the rest of it are in the other guitar now, but I'm left with the scratch plate and the pickup covers and the knobs and the thing, because age doesn't look good on a pure white, like brilliant white scratch plate. So there you go. So I just ended up with my original decision, and that's all in that guitar now. I soldered all that in yesterday. When I say solder, you're not soldering pickups and pots or anything. You're just soldering a number of wires, and those wires are, wait for it, those wires are, there's a couple of wires going to the jack. There's a black and a white wire going to the jack, you need to solder. There's also a wire going to the inside cavity, which is a ground wire, but you don't need to solder that. It just screws in the ground it. Then there's one other wire that goes to the back of the guitar where the springs are, where the claw is. It just gets soldered onto the back of that. That's all. 3 wires you need to solder, 1 you need to screw in, and then that's it. So I've done that yesterday, and the guitar sounds fan-dabby-dozy with the new 5762 pickups in it. I mean, the original pickups, the Fender Player ones, are perfectly fine. It's just that they're kind of more modern, and these are more, to my liking, to my ears anyway, they're more kind of melodic and tuneful, as they say. Well, some people might say that. I wouldn't. Don't you think tuneful's the word, is it? Possibly not. So that's the story with that. So I've upgraded that Fender Player. Now, as far as Fender Players go, I've got a new one as well that I got 4 days ago now. And it's a maple, roasted maple. So, new one I got, roasted maple, neck and fretboard, and it's also got custom pickups, which is custom flat 50s. So, I bought that guitar with those specs. It was basically a Fender Player, but it was a custom Fender Player, and it was in a custom so-called custom anyway color, which is Sonic Blue, which I rather like. I remember seeing a Strat before in Daphne Blue, and I thought that looks really nice. Well, trying to find Daphne Blue guitars is like trying to find 2 needles in a haystack, or 1 needle in 3 haystacks. I don't know. Whatever the analogy is. And but Sonic Blue will do. It's kind of close to that color anyway. So I've now got 2 Fender players. This one's been upgraded. This one that these parts that went into this scratch plate here already done a little bit of work to it, so I put a kind of lubricated string tree in, which isn't a tree at all. It's just a one those round string trees. It's not like metal at all. It's made of some sort of a carbon material, but it's always lubricated. And I also put locking tuners on that guitar. And now I've put these 5762 pickups in it, so it's totally modded out now. The new guitar I got, was already got the pickups and the roasted maple and all that, but I will be setting it up soon with the lubricated tree and the locking tuners. The trouble with Fender players is they're good. They're basically Fenders, really. Let's be honest. They're using the same woods, same components, and all that. But the only difference I would say, or one of the differences anyway, is the fact that I don't think they set them up very well. So it's using all the top class components that you would get in a Fender, the woods. It's not custom built, obviously, but the woods and the proper size pots and all the rest of it, the same stuff you'd get in a proper Fender anyway. The necks on these Fender players are good as well. Like I said, the only things I think about the Fender players that really need changing, they need a setup first off, but the only things they really need change is possibly the pickups and possibly the tuners because they don't come with locking tuners. But this needs a full setup, which they usually do. The other one needed one. And I had the two guitars up against each other the other day, and I could tell a difference. Just when I was bending the new one, it was a little bit gritty. It wasn't terrible or anything, but it was a little bit gritty. So they've not polished the frets. Basically, they've not. There's a little bit of jaggy edges on some of the frets at the side of the fretboard. Need to polish the frets in general. Need to kind of sand down, file down some of the fret edges. Not them all, but some of them. Then I need to give it a proper setup because I never set up properly. So, put new strings on, get that lubricated tree on, get the locking tuners on, and do my usual what I do after that, doing a proper setup. And then it'll be a really nice, modded out, kind of, well playing guitar, just like my other Fender player is. As far as guitars go, keeping on the theme, I did say in my other video the other day that I was probably going to get a cheap I was thinking about anyway getting a cheap Epiphone Les Paul copy or some other brand of Les Paul copy. And I says that those Epiphone Pro custom buckers things, custom Pro buckers, I says they were really good. The ones I was doing in the comparison video. And I thought, well, they could actually go in another guitar. So I'm really strongly thinking about getting a cheap Les Paul copy and sticking those Epiphone custom Pro buckets in it because I think they're good pickups. And at the same time, I've got a wiring harness kicking about that I bought that I was actually going to put in the Epiphone slash signature guitar, but I never got into it because technically speaking, I thought to myself, it's an upgrade, but it's not big enough upgrade. It's not going to make a great deal of difference. Whereas if I put that 50s wiring harness, which is a proper Gibson fucking quality, if I put that into a cheap Les Paul copy, it's going to be a much bigger upgrade. So I've got that. I can put in a cheap Les Paul copy if I do decide to get one. I've got the pickups, got tuners lying about as well. So I can make a cheap guitar into a good guitar, and why not when I've got the parts lying about? So that's another thing. The only other thing I kind of talk about as far as upgrading goes, I do have a Aria guitar, which is basically roasted maple neck and fretboard. It's got Wilkinson bridge, which is really good for staying in tune. I put locking tuners on that guitar and it stays in tune really well. Everything about that guitar that looks nice, it's got a really nice colour. It's supposed to be a super strat, so it's HSS. So everything about it was great apart from the electronics. The pickups were pretty weak, I really didn't like them, and the wiring and stuff, it's got small pots and everything about it. But they're well built. And when I've finished upgrading that guitar, it's going to look and play really nicely. And I've already got the pickups for that. Bought pickups about a year ago, HSS set. I've not even put them in yet. Look at it. But now I've got a new iron, soldering iron. I'll probably get to do that at some point. But that's going to be a big job, especially for me, because there's a lot of things I'll be doing in that guitar that I've never done before. For example, I'm going to put a split coil in it, so I'm going to split the humbucker got to be a push-pull thing in it, which requires wiring that I've never dealt with before. So I've got to take my time with that. Hopefully I'll get it right. I'm sure I'll probably make a mistake, but you know, mistakes can be rectified, as they say. So, but I'm basically replacing all the wiring in that guitar. So I'll have the push-pull thing, so I can split the humbucker HSS set that I've got to put in is way better than the pickups that was in it. I'm going to have big pots instead of really small alpha pots. I'm going to have proper 5-way switch and knobs and all that. And I'm even replacing the scratch plate in that guitar. That's how much I'm replacing. So, but the guitar itself, well built, and it just needs all that to be even better. So that's a future job, but that's going to take quite a while, and there's a lot involved in that job that I've never done before. I'm rather happy with my progress so far because I've managed to obviously to put Seymour Duncan's in that Epiphone slash signature guitar. Also replaced I did replace both the jack and the 3-way switch on that, but I took the 3-way switch back out. I replaced them with Switchcraft proper product. But I took the 3-way switch back out because it didn't fit that great, and the Epiphone 3-way switch fitted better. And I could get the tip on it as well. So it just also strangely enough, the Epiphone, I already says it in my previous video, the Epiphone hardware on that guitar was perfectly fine, didn't even need replacing it. That leaves me with I've got a Switchcraft 3-way switch now that I can also put in a cheap Les Paul copy when I get one. So I'll be replacing the switch. And all I need to do is buy a jack, replace that, and then I've got the pickups, I've got the 3-way switch, and I've got the 50s wiring kit. So yeah, but like I said, so far I've done the Seymour Duncan slash signature guitar. I've replaced the pickups and the Fender player. Going to set up this Fender player I just bought. It's got the flat 50s pickups in it. Some point I'll get that area strat done because that's quite a big job, especially for me because I don't exactly know what I'm doing. And in the future, a Les Paul copy. Now, I never thought I would have 4 Les Paul copies because I'm kind of more strat. I'm more leaning towards strat, quite honestly. Especially considering I've got back problems, I can't stand up. It's better to have strat type guitars because they're a lot lighter and just more comfortable. You know, because I'm not. If you're sitting down, you don't want like a bulky guitar sticking into your ribs and stuff. You know, being all awkward. And but I mean, in saying that, that used to be the case. But I've actually bought a lot of humbucker guitars. Most of the guitars I've bought. That's why I've been going on this lately. I've been replacing pickups and strats, and I bought that new Fender Player Strat because I want the strats to make a comeback. Because I have been buying a lot of humbucker guitars. Just was a big row of them. So basically, my strats were getting outnumbered. So I thought it was time to level the playing field, and that's why I've been doing what I've been doing with strats lately. But I honestly never thought I would have 4 Les Pauls, which I'm going to end up with. So I've got 3 right now. I've got the 2 Epiphone Les Pauls. I mean, they're not Gibsons because I can't afford those, but I've got 2 Epiphone Les Pauls and a Corp. But I've got a Revelation Strat, which is the Strat that I've played for a long time, and I really like. And it's probably my cheapest guitar. It was only cost me £220. I've done upgrades to that guitar. I've changed the tuners and the bridge, but it does have small pots and all that. So the good thing about killing 2 birds with 1 stone, it's always good to do that. The good thing about it is what you're looking at here, this Fender. Those parts went into my Fender player, my other one, the tide pool coloured one. But those parts that was in that guitar have to go somewhere, and those will be going in my Revelation. So it's like the Buddy Holly Strat, the red one you've seen before. So the knobs and the 5-way switch and the pots and all that will be going in that guitar, and that'll be upgrading that. So by me buying what you see here, I've actually basically upgraded 2 guitars for the price of one. Really, think about it. So I mean, there's a lot of upgrades been going on lately, pickup changes, you name it, and that will stop. So there you go. That's basically what I've been up to, and that's what I'm going to be getting up to. And won't be putting any of that on this channel. I'm just talking about it right now, but I'll not be filming or anything. Still have a camera first off. But that is the kind of calendar for what I'm doing guitar wise, and hopefully I'll get some playing in because I've not played guitar properly for a long time now. I've been working on that last video for so long, on and off, of course, not all the way through. That actually I didn't have time to play guitars. And technically speaking, I've no even since I finished that video, I've not had time to play guitars because I've just been fucking busy soldering and upgrading them. So which is not really playing them, is it? So I'll be happy when all this upgrading work is done and I can actually just play guitars, and then that'll be me then. Happy to not be working on some sort of fucking video or some sort of a plan, just playing the thing, because that's what guitars are about, playing. I've spent a lot of time not doing that in the last 3 months, so I need to get back to actually doing it for a change. Because you can have all the most expensive guitars in the world, you can have the best pickups, but at the end of the day, if you don't play the damn thing, what is the fucking point? Exactly. I'm agreeing with myself now. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.